Okay, well, here's a question for you guys then. What is the worst show that you think, like, what is your guilty pleasure, I guess? Do you like believe in guilty pleasures?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No.
I mean, I mentioned how I got my friend to watch Kiss Sis with me, right? That is hands down, dude.
Yeah.
I own all 23 volumes of the manga as well.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
Why would you fund that shit, man?
Because it's so bad yet so good. Like it's like it is. I have a lot of guilty pleasure shows, I like to admit, but I think the biggest for me, where I can openly be like, yeah, I know this thing sucks, but man, I can't put it down, is definitely Kiss Sis.
I mean, there's so many shows I like that suck, but I wouldn't call it a guilty pleasure. I'm fine with being like, yeah, I like that.
So you don't believe in a guilty pleasure, or?
I don't know. Maybe I've just gotten to the point where I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's my point now. Where I just like shows.
Just don't give a fuck anymore.
But I guess I put some shows in different categories because it's a different kind of enjoyment. Because I would never actively recommend some of these fucking shows that I watch. But I definitely have some shows that I put in an actual good kind of enjoyment. If there is anything as like a good kind of a enjoyment.
I mean, I say that Kiss Sis is my guilty pleasure, right? But I'm not fucking guilty for liking that show. I can like whatever. It's just my pleasure. I'm not guilty. It's just my pleasure. But again, like I just call it a guilty pleasure because I don't openly be like, have you watched Kiss Sis though? Like I don't openly recommend it unless you're my friend from high school.
Unless he's your friend.
Unless you're my friend from high school.
A yaoi scene about to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like, I have lots of shows like that. Like Yosugana Sora is another one. Right.
I still need to watch that.
I watched that entire thing, and I remember when D was like, because D Rebel House, he has this series called the Surviving series.
Yeah.
Where he goes and like basically tries to get people to watch these like absolutely hot garbage shows. And I remember he did an entire episode on Yosugana Sora, and I'm just like, bro, I'm glad you didn't call me onto this show because I would have been praising the fuck out of this show the entire time. I'm like, I know this sucks. I know that there is some mad Wincest shit going on in this show, but man, it's so good.
Yeah, he never called me to go on the Domestic Girlfriend episode.
Yeah, right?
For good reason. Because I still love Domestic Girlfriend. It's hot garbage. The ending sucks.
Would that be your guilty pleasure?
I don't know, because I would say the manga for Domestic Girlfriend, for like 80% of the manga for Domestic Girlfriend, I still think it's a fucking well-written show. It's the way I describe it, like, it's kind of like a soap opera, but the characters are actually well written in my opinion. Okay. But the events that happen in the soap opera are still very soap opera stuff.
Yeah,
but the way they handle it is still very good. The anime, I feel, is that's garbage because that skips over a lot of the actual character development and like it basically the anime speedrun shit. So the anime just took the trashiest moments from the manga and put it all in one package.
Oh well, then Connor will like that.
I'll love it. Yeah.
It's a speedrun anime. Right?
Yeah, but I like the Domestic Girlfriend manga ending. Everyone pretty much agrees it's hot garbage, and I've had time to sit in it now, and I think I actually like the ending of Domestic Girlfriend just because...
Dude, you're going through the phase that I had with School Days, basically, where it's just like, the first time you watch it, you're just like, man, this is hot garbage, but then the more you think about it, you're like, you know what? This actually might be genius.
Because I think the series started off as a flaming dumpster fire, and it ended in like a nuclear fallout kind of dumpster. That's and it was on theme. You know, it was on point. Like who got on this train knowing it was about to crash and thought it was going to parallel park? Like you know what I mean? Like we all started watching Domestic Girlfriend because we knew it was a fucking car crash.
Yeah.
What were we expecting?
They let you know from episode 1. Like literally the opening scene, you were just like, oh, this is gonna suck. This is gonna be messy.
Yeah, and I think the best thing it did was trick us because it tricked us into thinking it could have ended well because there was a lot of well-written moments in it. They tricked us and they made us forget that it was a dumpster fire.
Everybody got jebaited, man.
But because of the way it ended, it will forever stick in my mind, and I will. Yeah. I'm gonna reread that shit someday.
Telling his grandkids about this.
I will tell my fucking grandkids about the ending of Domestic Girlfriend.
Do you have one like that, Connor?
No, not really. I never really like.
Or do you just not even bother with like shows that?
No, I feel like with shows normally I tend not to. I'm trying to think. What have been some big anime that ended controversially, but the people didn't know the ending of already, right? Because of the manga. So it's kind of hard with anime, I feel.
Yeah, I know, right?
So
I mean, you're talking about anime original endings now,
Yeah.
or like original anime, which
Yeah.
or if it's like from
lot.
like a game, like School Days, all right?
Like, what about
Yeah.
something like Darling in the Franxx, which is the closest?
Okay, yeah,
thing
that
I
was a
can
fun
think.
dumpster fire to be a part
Yeah.
of. That was fun.